Trev's Hockey Show. I'm the Trev. That's too sweet. Anyway, continuing with the 50-50 Club. And today, we're talking about our 5th admission into the 50-50 Club. So we're just over half now. Or our 3rd admission by probably the greatest player to play the game. Now, I have mentioned how scoring 50 in 50 or less is a rare thing. I've mentioned how doing it twice is just as rare. But to do it 3 times in a span of 4 seasons, well, that's more than rare. That's blue rare. That just doesn't happen. But again, as I've said before, consider the source and consider the time. And when it comes to feat of this caliber, from our subject in question, are we surprised? No. Should we be surprised? No. So, with that, we're going to talk about the great one, again, and his 3rd admission into the 50-50 Club. And that's what we're talking about. So let's talk about it. Alright, so we're going back to the 1984-85 season. Here, we find the Edmonton Oilers coming off the high of not just another dominant season the year prior, which was capped off by their first Stanley Cup win in their 2nd Stanley Cup Finals appearance. They're being led still by Gretzky, who was still adding to his dominance of not just goal scoring, but point totals as a whole, all while not just breaking old records, but setting new records as well, including becoming the only player in league history to record over 200 points in a season, doing so twice up to this point. That's not even counting playoffs, that's regular season. And the regular season here starts on October 11th, 1984 with a 2-2 tie against the Kings. Now, while Gretzky didn't score in his first 2 games of the season, it's worth noting the Oilers went on a 15-game undefeated streak where they went 12-0-3 during the first 15 games. So that's worth noting. His first goal of the season came on October 14th in a 9-2 win against the Quebec Nordiques, but also set off a 5-game, 10-goal streak, which included his first hat-trick of the season on October 18th against the Minnesota North Stars. Now, this streak ended on October 24th in a 3-3 tie against the Capitals, and we would run into the end of October with Gretzky just finishing off with 1 more goal to round out October. And while he rounded out the month with 11 goals in 10 games, what's more impressive is he's got 30 points up to this point. 30 points in the first month. November seemed to follow a pattern. Go 1 game without a goal, score in the next 2. Go 1 game without a goal, score 2 in the next 2 each. And it would be November 21st before we saw Gretzky getting streaky again with a 3-game, 6-goal run, which included his 2nd hat-trick of the season on November 27th in a 7-1 win against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And while he did score 1 less goal in as many games played in the month of November, his season totals stayed right up on par, 24 goals in 24 games. But again, the point total is where it'll get you. 68 points in 24 games. Again, consider the time. So we come into December, and in the first 4 games, Gretzky has 3 goals before we get to December 15th, 1984, where he scored his 3rd 5-goal game of his career in an 8-2 win against the St. Louis Blues. It's worth noting this is not his last 5-goal game. Which brings us to December 19th. In a 7-3 win, ironically against the LA Kings, Gretzky would record 2 goals, including his 1,000th NHL point. Now, to put that in perspective, that's 1,000 points in 424 games. That's over 2 points per game average. Something to think about. Gretzky would also record his 4th hat-trick of the season on December 29th against the Detroit Red Wings in a 6-3 win. And while the goals per game have gone down in the month of December, no, they haven't gone down, they've gone up actually. 16 goals in 11 games, which puts his season points at 108 points in only 35 games, but more importantly, 40 goals in those 35 games. So another 15 games from 50, and another 10 goals from 50 or less. So we come into the month of January, and his first 2 games, no goals. Points, but no goals. He would record a goal per game for the next 3 games, starting January 6th against Winnipeg, before having that stopped on January 12th against the Pittsburgh Penguins. January 13th would see the start of an 8-game streak which was pretty much complemented in the first 6 by scoring 1 goal per game for the first 6 games, which brings us to game number 48, and by this point Gretzky has 47 on the season. So game number 50, on his birthday no less. Gretzky did what Gretzky did best at this point, scored a hat trick to get to goal number 50 in game number 49. So every time he's scored 50 in 50 or less, he's done so on a hat trick, and the third time, obviously no exception. For the record, that's his 33rd career hat trick, or his 5th hat trick of the season. Game number 50, well, I mean, that was a goal against Calgary, but that was also the end of that goal streak. So in 49 games, Gretzky scored 50 goals. In 50 games, Gretzky had 51 goals, or 145 points. Now, to break that down some more, that's 5 hat tricks to this point, 8 power play goals, 7 game winning goals, 9 shorthanded goals, and 1 5-goal game. And for the third time in 4 seasons, Gretzky scored 50 in 50 or less, this time just 1 game less. So to put that in perspective, for the rest of the year, in 80 games played, that's 73 goals and another 200-point campaign with 208. The third time in his career he's hit 200 points. Nobody's touched that mark since. That includes 6 hat tricks, that 5-goal game I told you about, 8 power play goals, 11 shorthanded goals, and 7 game winning goals. His 135 assists for the season, well, that was a new league record. And much like the season before, the Oilers had another completely dominant season, going 49, 20, and 11 for the regular season. Now, in terms of the hardware at the end of the year, that was the 5th first All-Star Team nomination for Gretzky, the 5th Art Ross Trophy, his 6th Hart Memorial Trophy, his 4th Lester B. Pearson Award, and his first Conn Smythe Trophy. After the Oilers went on a 15-3 run to defeat the Philadelphia Flyers for their 2nd Stanley Cup championship, back-to-back in 3 years. Gretzky also set a then record 47 assists in the playoff history. But back to the terms of the achievement, at least as far as points is concerned, Gretzky had as many assists for the season with 135 as the number 2 scorer in the league, which was his wingman at Jari Kurri, had points. In all, the Edmonton Oilers had 3 100-point scorers and 2 50-goal scorers, but also had combined over 400 goals for in the season. Still the only team to record that number. But again, with the dominance of the regular season, the dominance of the playoffs, it's kind of no wonder why when the NHL had their centennial season, there was a fan vote where the 84-85 Oilers were described as, or voted as, the most dominant team in league history. But, I mean, that happens when you have a guy like Gretzky on your team putting up numbers like he did, scoring goals as frequently as he did. If we were talking about 50 goals in 50 games or less for the 3rd time, come on, that says it all. But that was the story of Wayne Gretzky, scoring 50 goals in 49 games. Feel free to give me your thoughts. So that's another one of them Trev's Hockey shows. I want to thank you for tuning in. Don't think I don't appreciate the gesture, especially if you've made it to this point. If you've made it to this point, congratulations, my friend. You've made it to the end. And I can't even tell you how thankful I am. I'm getting at least 8 minutes, maybe 9 minutes of your time. That's something I don't take for granted. I know you got better things to do, so listening to me, that's a great thing. I do appreciate that. But you're helping out the watch time, which helps me out considerably. So whether you're here, whether you're digging what I'm doing, or you just want to say, hey, dude, I'm down, throw that thumbs up. I'm all for it. That helps with exposure as much as the watch time. But, you know, you can only go up from here. If you really want to, that red button, the one that says subscribe all over it, come on, you know you want to hit it. I know you want to hit it. The algorithm knows you want to hit it. If you haven't done that by now, come on, you're deny yourself a great thing. You'll feel good. Make me feel good. And we're making that push to 500 by the end of the year. For everybody who's jumped on board, thank you very much. I do appreciate you joining me for this ride. Hopefully we can go all the way to 500 and beyond. If you really want to, if you want to go that extra mile, that link in my description below, that'll take you to my Facebook page. Feel free to join that. I'm fairly active on there, whether I'm posting on my own page or somebody else's hockey theme page or music or sometimes just funny things. Dude, I'm there. Chances are I'll probably run into you there. But either way, feel free to join that one too. So moving forward, as far as the 50-50 is concerned, well, we've got 3 more entries to talk about. And one's from, in my mind, the best player of all the times. So I'm looking forward to that one. But in the meantime, and between time, Bill from Racer Trev. Data.